Okay, today we're going to be making 4 different sketches for our final mask project. So here's an example of the finished project. We're going to create it out of a cereal box. That will be the basic structure. And then we're going to add some designs with paint and then add some beans and some raffia on the edges. So today we're just going to do 4 different designs of face shapes, patterns, the cutouts that you will have for the eyes and the mouth, and how you will build out the nose. So I'm just going to divide my paper into 4 sections. So my squad goals divided the top and the bottom. And I'll just make 2 lines, so I have 4 sections. So I'm just going to start with 4 different shapes. You don't want to get too crazy. You want it to be a pretty basic shape, but you can do upside down triangle, circle, maybe a rectangular shape, and an oval. Nothing too crazy. You don't want to do a flower or something like that. The weight of the beans will kind of prevent you from doing that stuff. Now, the second thing I'm going to do is any add-ons. So you can see that my ears were attached. They were added on. So if you want to do ears on the side, horns on the top, any sort of design like that, you're going to do that right now. So maybe I'll do horns here. And all of your designs should be symmetrical. So if something's on one side, you want to have it on the other side as well. Okay, after you do those, you're going to do the eye holes, which could be just basic eye shapes, circles, ovals. And what you want to make sure here is that you have ample space in between the eyeballs. That way it's not going to sink down. You can see I have all this weight here, and since there's about an eye length in between these eyes, that way this doesn't sink down. If these were too close together, it would kind of sag in the middle. And once you add all of the details and the textures to it, these will all look very different. Even if they look the same as your neighbors right now, they will all end up being very different. Next I'm going to do the mouth. Again, pretty basic, nothing too crazy, nothing too detailed. Nothing too big also. These shouldn't be too far away from the edges. And now I will maybe add a couple of ears. Maybe this guy wants some ears. That's it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sectioning off all of these areas that will be painted a different color and outlined with the beads. So I also have this little area down here for his chin that's coming out. Was stapled on right here, and then I made some little goatee hairs coming off of it. So if you want to add anything like that, you can as well. Maybe I'll do that here. Okay, now that we have the majority of these drawn out, we're going to start adding the details like I was saying to section it off. So this is where you're creating balance, kind of unifying the mask together, and now these will start looking a little bit different. I always work on all 4 of them instead of just focusing on one at a time. I think it's just easier to work that way. That way my ideas, I think, are a little bit easier to come up with if I just do a little bit at a time. Incorporate a nose. The nose can go up to the eyebrows if you want. Doesn't have to be realistic. Shouldn't be looking like anything. This is your own design. You should be making an animal or a realistic person. I'll just do a triangular nose here. And maybe this one will just have a short little nose. the insides of these ears. Add some eyebrows to them, or you can just kind of outline the eyes. So maybe this would just be a different color of paint and eventually a different color of beans. You can do the same thing with the mouth, or you could just do, kind of thinking about if you paint faces or if you have a clown with exaggerated features. All right, so I have a nose, I have eyebrows, and then I'm just kind of breaking up sections of the face. So some triangles, maybe some repeated lines that I would change colors of paint. Try your best to make these symmetrical. Not sure I like the direction that this one's going in. This is why we're doing 4 different designs. You don't even have to choose one of these designs. You can piece your favorite parts of the designs together. Gotta change the shape of his face a little bit. And remember, these are all going to be cut out, the eyes and the mouth. So if I want to do a different color of paint or beans around the mouth, I'm going to add another line there. These will all be cut out. Just for your reference, I'll do some rectangular lines here. And that's pretty good for now. So finish all 4 of these, and then the next step is going to be to add color. Today we're just going to use colored pencils, so they're in your metal tins in the cabinet, and use a neutral color palette. So neutral colors come from nature. So those colors include brown, gray, peach, white or tan, a different lighter brown, black. You can use other colors, but very minimally. So greens, yellows, reds, and oranges technically would be on the neutral palette, but you want to use them sparingly. Okay, so choose your favorite design, maybe put a star by your favorite, and then you can begin coloring it. And you can even outline it too, since really all of these lines are going to be outlined in beans eventually. If you'd like to outline it in Sharpie, and then you can color it with colored pencils. As you can see, I've outlined this in Sharpie. Once you're finished with that, you can erase any of those sketch lines that you have, and you are able to move on to colored pencils. You're going to be using colored pencils from one of these tins, and I found a pretty good neutral color palette.